Welcome back to Market Pros and welcome back to Table Talk. My guest today is Mikey. How are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, doing great. We just had that. Uh, well, I guess we just came out of that. What was it coming up from 16K region? We've been up here for a while, and I'm just soaking up the price action, I guess.
Yeah,
Got a
nice.
lot going on.
There's been a lot of good opportunity with all this all this uptick. Man, there's been a lot of good trades, a lot of good opportunity lately, for sure. Um,
Yeah,
so basically what I want to talk about is you're a fairly new trader.
very
So
new.
yeah, but you are on the right path and you already are starting to achieve some form of success. So I want to get people, I want to get people on the right path as well. Show them how they can get on the right path, show them that you can be successful as a trader, even as a new trader, and
Oh yeah.
just share some of your, I want to hear your kind of your backstory, and then we're going to go into like some strategies, some tips and tricks, stuff like that.
Okay.
All right, so let's jump right into it. What like what's where did it all start? What made you first want to get into trading?
Uh, geez. Well, I guess it was just the logical progression and the little crypto journey I was on. Uh, I'd always been interested in crypto since, uh, God, I want to think back, because I remember, at the time it was big news because Bitcoin went up to $300 and everyone was, stoked.
Yeah.
you know, because at the time a lot of people had gotten in, where Bitcoin was like 10, $15. And, a lot of people even before that, when people didn't know if it was ever going to be worth anything. Uh, so from there, I'd kind of come and go from crypto as a whole. And I'm trying to think like what was the final moment. I think I had gotten into Algorand maybe 2, 3 years ago now. And at the time, Bitcoin had been going up crazy, and it was right around there. 60, I think it was like $67,000, something, somewhere around there. And the Algorand I had gotten for, 60 cents was now worth, $2.30. So um, it made a nice bit of money. Sold off some of it, held some, and then the market crashed. And the thing that got me really interested in was the fact that, you know, a lot of people were upset that Bitcoin had dropped so much from that high that it had. But there were a large, I guess, community of people that had made money during the crash, and that's what really got me going. Was the fact that the the price could go down so much and people could still be making money off of it. And that's what got me interested in all this.
Gotcha. Yeah, crypto is
Wow.
like I started when I first started, it was in the stock market, just building like a portfolio, value investing. Like when I first started, I learned how to analyze a company, all that shit, and then come to find out a few years later, all that is worthless. You know what I mean? Their value investing is basically dead now. Uh, you know what
Right.
I mean? So there's really all that shit that I learned really doesn't have a purpose, but you could still use some of it. A lot of the just if I ever did want to build a stock portfolio again, I would have kind of some kind of foundation. You know what I mean? But ever since I've been into
Right.
crypto, I have not touched stocks. Like I was in the stock market and forex for the first like 3 years, and then
Mhm.
ever since then, it's been full crypto. You know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
been in crypto for little over 3 years now. You know what I mean? So I've been in the market for a little over 6 years and learned a lot. It's basically been not full time, but basically another job. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, what first got me into it was just wanting something more. You know what I mean? Like wanting something more out of my life. You know what I mean? I was doing construction, breaking my ass, and
Yeah.
then I learned about stocks, and I learned that that's how some people get rich. So I started getting into that, and like I said, I built up a good stock portfolio, made some money, then got into trading, actively trading, and then like really buckled down when I got into forex, an old
Mm.
MetaTrader and shit like that, you know, and um and after that, man, I found crypto. Been full crypto ever since. Very lucrative, I mean, that's a spot to be is crypto, for sure. Uh
Oh yeah.
I thought about going
No,
back to trading stocks, but I mean, you can put leverage on Bitcoin and make a shitload of money. You know what I mean? If you have a good strategy that you've back tested, like it's
yeah.
very, very lucrative. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, if you well, for me, the huge difference between crypto and stocks was, you can make a lot of money doing both,
Hmm.
but the stock market is, goes at a snail's pace compared to crypto, you know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we get, way bigger swings with crypto, you know, if um, if a major company like, I don't know, like Apple or Tesla, if they just went up or down by 25% in a week, it would be headline news. If that happened in crypto, it would just be another Tuesday.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
would get some attention, but it wouldn't get the same level of attention as if that happened with a major company.
Right. Yep. That's it. So, what is well, you kind of already answered this. What is your favorite market, which is probably crypto at this point, but did you ever, I mean, do you ever think about like going back, trading the stock market or Forex, anything like that, or building a stock portfolio, anything like that, or is it just full crypto from here on out?
Well, I still have uh, a very, very small stock portfolio that's just sitting there. Don't really have any plans to do with it. I feel like crypto is demands so much time and attention that I don't want to take away from that to be doing the same thing just with stocks.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't have the bandwidth to manage both right now.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So, when you first started, did you have like a certain strategy that you used or strategies, or did you kind of just guess? You know what I mean? Like a lot of new traders do. They just go in and think they're going to know like the flow of the market, you know what I mean? And just use a bunch of random ass shit and, make money, which sometimes people get lucky and do it, and then it just self reinforces those bad behaviors, you know what I mean? But like, what did you do when you first got into the market?
Oh, okay. Well, when I first started, um, I guess you could call it trading. The initial thing, the was Coinbase, and it wasn't even really the trading part of Coinbase. Like, what I would do is I would buy just any one of the coins I was paying attention to when I saw the price would go down, and then when it would go up a few cents, I would sell it. So I would, because I noticed specifically with Algorand that it would get into these little ranges. But the issue I was facing then is that the fees were eating me up because I wasn't
Yeah.
actually using their trading platform. It
Hmm.
was really just to like where you go to buy it, and
Yeah.
I was just exchanging it for the US dollar. Like, I had no idea about like um, long shorts, leverage, like any of that crap just yet. Like, I was literally just buying the coin and then selling it once it went up a bit. And that was okay, but the amount I was eating in fees, like, because I was starting off pretty small, and my risk to reward was like completely fucked at the time. Like I'd be doing something like with $100, I would make 10, and then I'd swap it back to USD, and the fees and the spread, like I actually ended up making like $3. Looking back now, I realize like that was, retarded, because then
Yeah.
I was basically risking, potentially $100 worst case to make, $2-3. Like that was ridiculous.
Yeah, just buying spot. Did you
Yeah.
look at charts back then, or was it just like the Coinbase chart? Did you use TradingView? Did you use any kind of trading or charting software, or was it just like Coinbase charts and then seeing if it was like in a range and shit?
No, okay. So to start off, I was just using the Coinbase thing that they would display on my phone. It didn't really have much useful information besides, just the price. Literally, that's it for a very small window. And I think I was, deluding myself into thinking I was doing some type of analysis at the time. Because looking back, like it was the graphs they offer on the phone are just closer to, a picture,
Yeah.
an approximation
Mm-hmm.
of a chart. Like it's really a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're into getting a little bit more information, like the high, the low, the close, volume, just the things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until God, um, I met you, I think it was last year, that I
Yeah.
actually started getting into Trading View, and
Okay.
seeing all the cool stuff you could do with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crucial. If you're really going to get serious about trading, you got to have TradingView or some sort of charting software. I mean, you can't just go off of these charts on your phone. Because, like you said, I mean, they basically, like their data feed, they just
Right.
upload. They upload like every, what, 10, 20 seconds or something like that. And then, you'll see the little dot move and shit. But it's nothing that you can really use, you know what I mean, to actively trade. But yeah, I mean, you say you were buying spot, basically just buying and selling. And yeah, those fees will eat you up. That's why it's important to get on some sort of actual trading software like Coinbase Pro. Like if you were on there, you know what I mean? You wouldn't have
Yes.
got eaten up so bad with fees. You could have actually set limit orders. You know what I mean? So what I would advise anybody that is first starting out is to actually get on some sort of trading software, and then also use like TradingView, some sort of charting software, to just really
Yeah.
have a whole outlook on the market, be able to use different variables, use different indicators, which indicators I wouldn't advise right off the bat. Um, just a word of advice: I would trade price action and candles first. You know what I mean? Now, just so you can get like a basic knowledge of how price action works. You know what I mean? You start adding more variables to it, you're going to make it a little more complicated, and you can make strategies off that. But I would just advise trading with price action first and then adding some other variables to it. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
No, I think that's smart. In the beginning, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I think everyone does this at some point. When you first start in, you have, I wouldn't even call it some level of success, but you have a few good trades, and in your mind, you're just ignoring, the 10 times
Mm-hmm.
you lost $20 because you just made 40 right now, So you get this idea in your head that um, that you got it figured out or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
And
it reinforces those negative behaviors.
exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
it is just downhill from there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, at least some type of system that you actually stick to,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and then back test it. You know what I mean? Like develop a strategy, back test it with a sample size of 20 to 50 trades. You know what I mean? Like you'll know your hit rate. You know, like if you have a strategy and you back test it, you'll basically know how much money you're going to win or how much money you're going to make, how many trades you're going to win, out of a sample size. Always use a sample size and back test strategy because then you're just, if you're going to use trial and error from current markets, you're going to have to lose all that money and pay that tuition to the market in order
Yeah.
to see if your strategy even works or not. You know what I mean? And so, what would you have done? I've heard you say, how you did it. What would you have done differently right off the bat? Now, not like saying, I would have used this strategy because I'm making money off that now. Saying like, how would you have started differently? Like what can you tell new traders? Like, give them some advice on how you would have done it a little differently and how they might be able to learn from your mistake.
I would, I'd say the biggest thing would probably be is get educated as to like what you're doing and what's actually happening when you do that. You know, maybe uh, look into what all these, not all of them, but the important indicators, like price itself, RSI, just things like that. Get get an education on how the market moves and why it moves
Hmm.
before you just jump in and start, essentially just gambling.
Yeah.
Because while it is fun, you get that dopamine hit, but the
Hmm.
losses will mount up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, if you start out with basic knowledge and you continue to build on that, and then you start trading, I think that's the best way to go as well. Uh, that's like when I first got in the market, I didn't really trade. I focused more on education. Like I like to think that I did it the right way. Now, I still lost money. I blew up a whole account. That's because I made different mistakes. I made other mistakes that, my psychology, I didn't realize how important psychology is in the market. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand that at the time. So I was good at technical analysis and I had these strategies that worked, but I kept faking myself out or jumping the gun, fucking taking profits too early, not taking profits, like letting my losers run and cutting my winners short, shit like that. I made all these
Yeah.
mistakes. Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, what importance do you feel that psychology plays into your trading? Like, do you struggle with it? Or did you struggle with it? What differences have you made? You know what I mean? Like what things have you changed to kind of get a better grasp on your own market psychology, during,
Mhm.
the last couple of years.
Geez. Well, I think psychology is still and probably always will be a major issue for myself. It was more of an issue in the past because I mean it's just the nature of the beast. You will basically just lie to yourself to cover up mistakes or to somehow talk yourself into thinking like, oh, if I just hold on to this one, it went past the point of uh, loss that I find acceptable, but it could turn around, and if it did,
Mm-hmm.
I will make all this money, you talk yourself into like all types of crazy stuff at the time because you get wrapped up in that potential. um, but currently the only way I've really found to get around this is to have a plan and stick to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is
And
that is
that's
exactly it.
and that's the only way I really see getting around this. Because if I open up a trade and I just sit there and actively, managing with my finger over the, finger over the button to, buy or sell. It's, you're going to see yourself, you're going to see the gains mount up, and then you're going to see them, melt away as you just hold on for a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And that little
Yeah.
bit more is, will never, ever come, you
Hmm.
know?
Get too greedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Greed is good. It keeps, that's essentially what keeps the market going, you know,
Hmm.
but it's very important to have a plan, or, at least some sort of framework to get in and out with the minimum amount of losses.
Hmm.
So usually what I'll do is these days when I'm setting up a trade, I will, I will set it once, and it will have its stop loss and a point to take profits. And I'll just kind of sit back and let it go.
Yeah.
If I have a little bit more free time, I will set the stop loss. And once it gets like into a good area of profit, I will just keep moving the stop loss down and down and down as the price continues to rise or fall. So then, like right now, I think I have one that's up, but I think it's like an 80% gain right now. But I
Nice.
have the stop loss set to like, I think it's like 65% or whatever. So if it ever goes up to there, I'm happy with my 65%. If it moves more, I just move the stop loss up to, maybe the 85 or 75, whatever.
Hmm.
But the point is that, never again will I see a trade go from, like 150% return down to, a 50% loss, and I
Yeah.
just sat there and watched it the whole time. I've done that plenty, and I'm done with it.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you've learned, you know what I mean, from your mistakes. Uh, seems your camera cut out there, uh, Mikey. I don't know what happened. You still with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, that's good. All right. Yeah, it's all right. If you can figure it out, that's fine. If not, it's all good. Oh, you're
All
back.
right, we're good.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So, uh, you shared what your original strategy was when you first got in. So, what,
Yes.
like when you first started like actively trading,
Mhm.
and you were using stop losses and take profits and limit orders and all that, using TradingView, or whatever charting software. What strategy did you use then? Like when you first started implementing a strategy at all? Or did you just like kind of trade off a whim in the market, support and resistance, what have you? What did you start out with?
Oh God. Okay. So at the very beginning, very very beginning, uh, I was essentially just going with my gut, because I would put in an order, and because I felt that it would go down or would
Yeah.
go up, and I mean that's basically what I was doing. Um, and it didn't really work out too well. Looking back, I'm incredibly lucky that I didn't lose more, but yeah, it wasn't really a great strategy to speak of at all.
Right. Well, I think,
It was, I would have probably fared equally well just flipping a coin.
mhm. Yeah, sometimes trading trading can be like flipping a coin sometimes. You know what I mean? And the thing is just putting the probabilities in your favor to where you're flipping the coin like the house, like if it was a casino.
Right.
You know what I mean? To where, your coin's a little weighted, you know what I mean, on one side. And then, the more you flip,
Exactly.
if your risk to reward ratio is good, you can be wrong half the time and still make money. You know what I mean? And, but yeah,
Yeah.
so I think a lot of new traders do what you did, and that's kind of what I did as well. I didn't really have, a standard strategy, you know what I mean, that I used. It was kind of just trading off a whim, maybe a little bit of support and resistance, you know what I mean, because I would notice it would be in a range. something like that.
Mhm.
I'd sell resistance buy support. But other than that, it was just kind of, I was using too many indicators, you know what I mean? Like right off the start. But then I backed up. I really buckled down on education. Once I realized that like there was so much to learn, I really focused on education for those first,
Yeah.
year and a half. And then I went back to trading. And then I did, a lot better. And then I started, figuring out actual strategies, implementing those strategies, and then realized, you know what I mean, that like you can continuously make money in the market, and you just stick to your plan, like you said, set it and forget it sometimes. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. You figure out what point you know that you're wrong. You know what I mean? That's where you set your stop loss. And then, but you also got to be careful because in crypto, there's a lot of liquidity wicks, and liquidity crunch. So,
Oh, yes.
yeah, you got to be careful of that shit. But there's a point where you can where you can see and know that you're wrong. And then you just get out. You don't let the shit run. You just get out. You know what I mean? And then set your take profits. If you want to scale out, sometimes I'll scale out. I'll take a third and a
Mhm.
third and a third, and I'll let that last third run. You know what I mean? Until I think the market's topped out, because then
Right.
I already got solid profits in. You know what I mean? And then you just let that third run, and then you can kind of gamble with that third, see how far you can take it. Um. All right. So we talked about what your strategy used to be. What what's one of your strategies now? Like what tools do you use to continuously take money out of the market?
All right. So, um, right now I've been playing it a little bit more safer, but let's see. I think the major things I use, RSI, volume, the Stokes, and the moving averages. Been working on a way to get all of those things together in some sort of strategy that's not overcomplicated. But that's kind of a work in progress. But for right now, the major things are it's the RSI and your moving averages. Looking for the crossovers and playing them from there.
Okay. Yeah,
So
so basically momentum and trend is what you're
yeah,
using right now. See, that's a good base strategy, you know?
do
Um,
that, and then well, then you got the the candles, and you can measure the strength of a trend.
mhm.
So you got to keep an eye on that. There's that part's that stuff's kind of new to me, but I'm really getting into it. The like all the Wyckoff stuff,
Yeah.
because there's a lot on that.
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah,
Trend,
Wyckoff.
momentum, volume, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Wyckoff uses a lot of volume analysis and price action. You know what I mean? So it's like it's basically going back to the base, but it's very advanced. You know what I mean? Like Wyckoff is very advanced technical analysis, but it's worth it, because you can also implement other strategies into that Wyckoff method and use it
Yeah,
to increase your probabilities.
exactly.
Yeah.
And slowly coming to terms with the fact that no strategy is going to be 100% accurate
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
But even if I get like you were saying, 50%, I'd be set.
Yeah.
You know,
As long as your risk to reward ratio is good. You know what I mean? Like one, you know, risk to reward 1 to 3, if you at least
Mm,
have that and you have back tested a strategy to where you know that it's at least right 50% of the time, you'll make money. It's not people overcomplicate it. You know what I mean? Like trading. It's
Mhm.
basically developing a strategy, developing rules, and so that you can be disciplined. Discipline is key. Discipline, patience, even being patient with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get the shit right off the bat. And what I would advise is to first focus on making a strategy. You know what I mean? Like, seems like you seems like you have came a long way already. Seems like you're implementing stuff. Whatever you're doing is obviously working. You know what I mean? And you're still trying to add to that strategy and perfect it to where you can have the highest hit rate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is
Well,
what
and
it's all about.
that would be, if I could go back a couple of years and tell myself, that would be, some of the, I think the two major things I would say would be to, you know, focus your education on things that help you develop a strategy, as opposed to just finding someone else's strategy, if that makes any sense to
Yeah.
you. Because like some of the stuff I'm reading, like the Wyckoff book I got right now, they're not giving you an actual, like, a strategy. They're just kind of breaking it down, like, this is how it works and this is how you can potentially use this information, but there's
Hmm.
no actual, if you see these, indicators, do this, open up a short, like, you really want to stay away from that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
you know.
Because it'll just make you lazy. You know,
Well,
in my
yeah,
opinion, if
but
you
then
just
you're
use
not.
yeah, if you just use other people's strategies, then you're not getting, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it'll work. And if you really learn their strategies, that's fine. You can copy someone's strategies. I'm just saying, if you want to develop your own, then, concentrate on that. You know what I mean? Now, yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion because I'm obsessed with the market. So I really wanted to build my own strategies. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of stayed away from those books that teach you strategies and shit like that, like you were saying, and I'm focusing more on building that solid education for myself so that I can implement my own strategies. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's important. And you just got to kind of, like, with things like that, you got to step back and, think about it. If you have a super successful, trading strategy, like, why is he not a billionaire? And why is he selling books? If he's such
Right.
a, successful trader.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's not to say successful traders can't sell books, but it's
Right.
like, well,
Oh, there has
it
been.
doesn't add
Yeah.
up for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've read some books by some very successful traders, but that's not why they're selling books is to make money. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're going to make
Right.
money. Of course, you know what I mean? You're going to make money. But I'm saying they were already successful before the book. It's like all these
Mhm.
damn gurus, you know what I mean? There's gurus everywhere. And that's another thing I would advise everybody. Staying away from those gurus that just promise you all this shit. And you know what I mean? Like, they have this magnificent strategy that has a 100% hit rate and shit like that. You know what I mean? Or, follow
Yeah.
their trading signals and shit like this. Like, yeah, some of it will work, but a lot of that shit is just bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, just stay away from
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Focus on your own education, you know?
No, if any strategy was 100% successful, it would spread like a virus and the market would be broken.
Mm-hmm.
The system doesn't work like that. It's,
Right.
not everyone can win all the time. My win was someone else's loss.
It's a zero sum
So
game.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just important to keep that in mind.
So, like, as we talked about, like, discipline is very important, and so are trading rules. Is there any rules that, like, you live by? You know what I mean? Like, with your trading, is there any rules that you follow to a T? You you never, you know what I mean? You never deter away from those rules. Keep yourself disciplined. What are some of your rules that you can share?
Um, well, so most of if not all of the rules. I'd say like 90% of them is just kind of removing um, myself from the equation, um, and not not getting into like things like revenge trading, or get into the mindset of I can't close this winning one yet because I have to make up for the previous loser and still make a profit. So a lot of the time I will do things like, you know I already said yes, set my stop loss, my profit, stick to those. The other thing I'll do is if I have a few bad ones, I'm just call it a day.
Yeah.
That's very important, because
Hmm.
when you get angry, upset, or disheartened, you don't make the best decisions.
Hmm.
Because the more desperate you are, the worse things are gonna go for you.
Yeah.
So, but I do the same thing with success, though. Like if I, you know, have a trade and I get, 135%, return, I was like, I need to be happy with that. Call it a day.
Hmm.
So I guess the extreme on both spectrums, just okay to step away. And then I think those are like the major ones I have.
So
Um,
you kind of
but
have like a quota, and then you use that quota to kind of keep balance to your life to where you're not always trading. If did I get that right?
yeah, I mean, because you could drive yourself crazy, just staring at the chart and waiting for the right moment or whatever, and you may have some success, but it's like, well, why do you just want to stare at the chart for 6 hours straight?
Hmm. Yeah.
That's seems a little ridiculous for me. I'm trying to think. Oh, I made this mistake a couple times, embarrassingly enough, but it's like, don't put in an order without a stop loss and just let it sit overnight. Like,
Oh man. Yeah. Wake
you
up
know, I
wrecked.
yeah, I've done that. I've done that a few times, but the only reason I did it a few times is because it worked the first time I did it, you
See,
know?
that's that self-reinforcing behavior, you know? You
Exactly.
win off of it. If you win off of it, then you think it's good, and then yeah, I mean, you make up for it, you know?
Yeah. But that's just human nature. Like, that's logical. If something worked, why wouldn't you do it again? You'd be stupid
Right.
not to do it again if it worked,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get it, but you know, you gotta stay realistic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I agree. I agree about the balance thing. You know what I mean? Because if you just trade all the time, I mean, unless, you know, especially for people like me, like I got a family, I have a business, like I have other things that I'm doing. So I can't, I mean, yeah, I do good trading. You know what I mean? Don't get me
mhm.
wrong, I do good trading, but there's also other things that I want to do. You know what I mean? So unless you don't have anything that you want to do and you don't have a family and you're totally fine with staring in front of a computer all day, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
more power to you.
yeah, but if not, you need to have balance because balance will make your trading even better. You know what I mean? If you have that balance, you'll find that, the better you're doing in other parts of your life, the better of a trader you end up being because you're in that positive mindset, that success mindset. You know what I mean?
Mm,
At least that's what works for me. I have to have
right.
balance. Like I try to take one or two vacations every year for like a week.
Nice.
I leave all my computers at home. I don't even check my phone for the market. You know what I mean? I just cuz I do YouTube too. So I even have
Right.
to put that away for a week. You know what I mean? Just because I don't want to bring none of my computers. I want to get that time away from it and get refreshed. You know what I mean? And then you find when you come back, you're ready to go. You know what I mean? Like at least that's what works for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's, important, not with trading, just with life,
Hmm.
just to, not get obsessed over any one thing before it, takes over your life. Because
Yeah,
um, trading is, it's very exciting. It's fun. You can make a little bit of money doing it, but um, I plan to keep it that way. I want it to be fun. I want it to always be fun. I don't want it to turn into a chore or something that ends up running my life.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I get it. See, I am obsessed for sure with the market, but I also have balance. You know what I mean? Like
right,
I call it my magnificent obsession. It's just that's the term I use for it because I love it. Like I love the markets, but it doesn't run me. You know what I mean? Like there's a big difference.
right,
You know what I mean? If you're obsessed and the market runs you and that's all you do, you know what I mean? Like you're not giving yourself, you're not giving yourself time for anything else. You're not living, especially if you're not becoming rich off of it. If you're becoming rich and you're staying in the market all day and you don't have a family and all that, that's good. You know, whatever. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But I'm saying if you're spending all this time on these charts and you're not even making money, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like focus on education first of all so that you can
right,
make money, but I'm saying like you got to have balance. At least that's what it is for me. I have to have balance. You know, I've neglected other shit before and it didn't even make me a better trader. You know what I mean? Like it was like that was all I was doing. So my patience went down. You know, like I lost patience because I was always wanting to be in a trade,
mm,
and then so what I do now is, most of the time one of my computers is open. I got a bunch of screens, a couple computers, shit like that.
right,
So I'll have one of my laptops open if I'm doing other shit. I'll have one of them open and I'll have alerts set. You know what I mean? And then if one of my alerts are hit, I know it's time to trade, and then I analyze and act accordingly. And that's really it. You know what I mean? Other than that, I'm studying. I still learn every day, you know, because like I said, I'm kind of obsessed, but it's a good kind. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna make me good at it. And
right. No, I
just
mean that it's good to have
it's
a
more of
high
a
amount of
passion. It's more of a
passion,
passion. Yeah.
right? For anything you do, you know, um, it's what's going to keep you going, and
Hmm.
keep um, it's going to keep you getting educated on the subject.
That's
Because
right.
because at this point, I'm starting to realize it doesn't. I don't think there'll ever be a point in which I feel like I know everything about this. It's gonna keep the education is just gonna keep going and keep evolving.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and it's fun. I look forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. Um, so I know you dropped a few, tips and advice for new traders. Is there anything else, like if you could go back and tell yourself something, like something that you haven't already said? Is there anything else that like you would tell yourself or that like you would tell a new trader to either watch out for or do, something like that? Like what else would you say?
Um, mm, oh, I would. Okay, so like it took me a while for me to get my head around this. That uh, you're when you make a trade, you're winning or losing money based on that price action. So, Bitcoin goes from, 20 to 15. If you went short, you made some. If you were long, you lost some. But Yeah, I would have to tell myself to not, don't get worried about missing big moves. As long as the market is moving, there's possibility there. Like if Bitcoin went to $100,000 tomorrow, it shouldn't change your mindset because it's a new day, it's a new price, it's just a different opportunity at a much higher range, but it shouldn't affect your outlook or strategy, if when you miss these moves. And don't worry about missing them because there's always going to be more.
Yeah. Yeah, opportunities reset daily. The market's always
Yeah,
going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to FOMO, anything like that, because there's always going to be opportunities. That's why, like, I continue to try to just, like, beat into people's heads, like, focus on education first. You know what I mean? Because then you're going to be able to pull a lot more money out of the market. You're going to save yourself a lot of pain. You know what I mean? Like, education first. Trade paper trading if you want that rush off the bat. You know what I mean? Like just paper trade. Develop a strategy.
right.
You know what I mean? Develop a strategy, back test it, and then put yourself, in harm's way. You know what I mean? Like then put yourself on the
Yeah.
line, you know? Um, yeah, man, this has been a really good conversation. I had a lot of fun. Do you have
Yeah.
any closing thoughts?
Uh, no, I hope everyone does well in this market. And I hope if you're listening, you got something out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I just have to stress the importance of education at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been great. It's always good talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Uh, So if you guys like this video, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. We have daily analysis. I upload videos every single day. We talk about what the market's going to do. We stay ahead of the curve. Also join the Discord. We share our trades. We share our strategies, tips, tricks. We talk the markets all day. There's some other links in the description below. And yeah, definitely stay tuned to more podcasts. And I will see you tomorrow.